Good morning you guys, it's Karen and I have got some favourites to tell you about. Before I start, I know that my videos have been a little bit sporadic and maybe confusing because like there was one that was a week apart but I was in the same outfit and whatnot, and that was because I tried to film before we went on holiday. We just had a week off, but I didn't get around to editing it because of my head on the last day, and then I got a throat infection, then I put my back out, then Watson hurt his tail, he's got limber tail, you know, just the usual story. However, I did have a lovely week off and I got to meet donkeys for the first time and it was just lovely, and I have put a video over on my channel, on the Life as a Zebra channel, if you would like to see that. But hopefully things will get a bit more consistent. I have received and injected myself with the Adjuvant injection for migraine, so we'll see how that goes. Fingers crossed that works for me. Okay, on to favourites. I have got a couple of skincare, one hair care, and then the rest is makeup. I've found some really good makeup things. This is the hair care item. I absolutely adore this. I used it when I got it. It is the Superdrug Me Plus Argan Oil Conditioner. So I used it and thought, oh, my hair feels lovely. I wonder if that was the conditioner, or I used some Moroccan oil leave-in and I thought, is it that? You know, so I used it again and was like, no, it's this. This kind of puts my hair back to how I used to feel it was after a blow dry. Like I just feel over the last couple of years, what with menopause and, you know, probably stresses and health and whatnot, my hair has just not felt as thick and healthy as it used to. But I used this and was like, wow, out of all the things that I've spent money on and been trying to use, this has worked really, really well. And it's, you know, little old Superdrug. So really love that. It just, my hair felt very soft, tangle free, but more than anything, it just felt healthy, you know? So love that. For skincare, I have been loving these Tropez Luxe Tan Tonic Drops. I've had these a while and I used them, you can see I've not used very much, but I used them sort of without diluting them. These are ones that you add to skincare, and I used them all over. When I say all over, I just mean my face and neck. And like that, it was way too dark. And so I then mixed a couple of drops in with some cream and I didn't feel like it was dark enough. It was just I could barely see it, so I kind of gave up on it and it was sitting in my cupboard and went back to using my usual Tropez tan. But I've been really trying to be good at not leaving things sitting in a cupboard, because I've got so much stuff, you know, and I really don't want stuff to just sit there and not be used and then eventually get chucked out because it's gone past its sell-by date. I really want to use things and go, am I keeping this? Do I love it or do I not? And, you know, put it aside. So I found a really good way of using it, and it is to use it at night, which is how I prefer to do my self-tan anyway. And what I do is I put my night cream on, whatever that may be, and I've used two different types and it works really well the same with both of them, and then use a few drops of this on top of it just immediately afterwards. So it's sort of mixing, but it's mixing on your face. And then I use this, which is just, I'm going to talk about this at the end, it's amazing, but then I just sit with that on so it dries on my neck and then it doesn't tend to go patchy at all. I used to do my self-tan at night. I always did my self-tan at night, but then I started getting these, I think it's where I put weight on, you'd see white lines on my neck, you know, and I had to start doing my self-tan in the day. But with this method and using this fan, it seems to be working perfectly for me. I just love Tropez for tan, to be honest. This is the skincare item, and I don't think, I showed you this in the haul, the simple haul that I did, but I don't think I'd been using this for, I think I'd only been using it for a couple of days, but I've been using this constantly since then, and I really, really enjoy this, and so I'm definitely going to repurchase this. It is a derivative of vitamin C, but this just feels, it feels really moisturising, really silky. My skin feels lovely afterwards. It hasn't broken my skin out. It hasn't caused any reaction. I've been using it on my neck. And my skin feels really nice, so I'm definitely going to repurchase that. Okay, on to makeup. I'm going to talk about my fail first. I don't know what everybody's opinion on this palette is. I haven't watched any reviews, but you may have noticed I don't really buy palettes very much anymore. I haven't done for quite some time. I think because I've got so much, I don't need any more. You know, there's nothing new in any of the palettes. But this one, it's kind of a long story, but I had the original one and it smelled like chocolate and I loved it. And there was a couple of colours in the palette that I adored, but I very rarely got the palette out because there was only those couple of colours that I used, and I ended up giving it away. And I had kind of intended to buy the new one at some point, thinking it might be on offer at some point, because I like this new thin packaging, because it was quite bulky, the other one. But I never did. And then I saw this and I looked at the colours and thought, yeah, they look like they're fairly similar, you know, and I think I'll enjoy that. I'll enjoy the sort of bronzy colours. The first problem for me is that everything except these colours here and the mattes obviously has sparkle in it, and has glitter in it. I don't want a sparkly glittery eyeshadow. I don't mind it for the look, but it's more that it irritates my eyes. That's my own fault for not checking what the shadows were like. But I have used this shadow here. I've tried a couple of the ones with sparkles and the mattes, and I just don't feel like they're as good quality as they used to be. They just took a lot of work to blend. That's what I noticed. And even I used, the last look I did was with this one here. And I noticed later in the day, I was looking in the mirror and I thought, well, that doesn't look blended. And it's something that I worked a lot at blending. And so this for me is a fail, unfortunately. On to two palettes though that are an absolute winner. And it's these Viseart ones. Now these are both matte. So if you're into matte shadows, I think you will love these. Especially if you're kind of looking to do something a little bit different. So this is the Petite Matte's Warm. And this is basically a smaller version of, do you remember they had them in the plastic bigger boxes? And I had one, I don't think it was this one, I think it might have been the neutral one. I didn't use it very much because I wasn't really into mattes then, and I remember the plastic top broke, or the hinge broke, so I couldn't really, you know, it was broken. So this is just a smaller version of that, and this is amazing. These shadows are amazing. So I ordered this warm neutrals because there's just these sort of little pops of colour. And remember in the last but one video I had this yellow colour on. I really like it. It just, like I said, I think because I'm into mattes and this has got a few different colours in it, you can sort of step out of your comfort zone but still be wearing mattes, and so I really like it. I liked it so much that I thought I'm going to go and order the neutral one as well, which is this one. Now, I haven't used this as much because it's cooler colours, and so I need to have a play around with it. But these come out, these are just all magnetised in here, and I've got other Viseart palettes that I could, you know, swap the shadows around. So I just love these. I think these are absolutely brilliant, and I have liked Viseart shadows for quite some time. So if you like a matte shadow, I think you'll love those. Staying on eyes, I found an eyebrow product that I love, and I don't think I showed you that I bought this. This is the Iconic, I don't know what the actual name of this is. Brow something, obviously. Do you know, I can't, even with my glasses on, I can't read that. But it kind of looks like glue, but it's not as strong as glue. Because remember I did that TikTok video and I used eyelash glue. That's something I would use if I was, I don't know, not that I go to festivals, but it was going to a festival and wanted my brows to stay in place and absolutely not move. But this is just that perfect medium, you know, it really holds them in place. You don't feel like, because I often get little hairs sort of falling down here. But what I noticed when I used this and watched myself back on video was it made my hairs look, my brows look a bit more defined, looked a bit more hair-like, you know. So I've really been enjoying that, and I think that's a repurchase. And this is another product where I've got a couple of brow setting things in my makeup bag, and I was like, most of the time wasn't bothering to use them, and I was like, you need to use them or you need to do something with them, but I don't want things just sitting there, you know, I want to be using things. And so I thought I would try this, and I absolutely love it. This next one I've mentioned a few times in that this is what I've been wearing on my cheeks. It's the Fenty blush in Summertime Wine, and so I thought I would show it to you because you might be surprised at how dark it looks. You know, I knew I was taking a risk because I was looking at the colours that were available in the boots I was in, and there weren't actually many testers, and I was like, this looks like it could be too dark for me. This could be a disaster. But as you know, I've been loving it because I've had it on in the last 3 videos, I think. But what I love about it is I use the Real Techniques contour brush, by the way. That's what I've always used for blush, and I love that. But you tap it in here, put it on, and it's not like a splodge of colour. It's a really light colour that you can build up. So you could get it to that colour, but it will also work on my light skin, you know, and not look ridiculous. And you can really, really build it up. I don't have it on today, by the way, because I've got a peachy blush on by Illamasqua. But I absolutely love it. And what I love the packaging because it's small. You guys know I don't like huge packaging. It's really small. This would be great if you want to keep a blush in your handbag. But what I also love is it's good on bare skin. It stays on, doesn't budge. And if you just want to give your face some colour, which sometimes I'll just, if I'm not wearing foundation, I might put a bit of blush on, maybe a bit of cream bronze, but often not, blush and do my brows, and that'll be it. it's lovely on bare skin. Also, it goes really nice on top of your foundation, and I've even put it on top of powder when I'm like, oh, I haven't done my blush, and it doesn't disturb the makeup. It almost goes on like a powder, but it is a cream. So I really, really like that. I'm a big fan, and even though I don't need any more blushes, I can see me looking out for one the next time I'm in Boots. The final product, or products, there's two actually that I'm telling you about. I want to talk about the e.l.f. Sheer Tint Finishing Powder because I've been using this so much. I'll show you. And I have always preferred a pressed powder, as long as you don't have to work too hard to get the powder out. Because although I love a lot of loose powders, I love the No. 7 loose powder, I love the Laura Mercier loose powder, but I make such a mess with them, and I also don't like inhaling them. So I prefer a pressed powder, but it's been tricky to find the right one. Do you remember I had a good one? Was it either 17 or Collection? I can't remember which one, but I kept putting it on and it just wasn't mattifying me at all. This one mattifies me just the perfect amount, and it's the perfect amount of powder comes off as well. You know, you don't have to really, really work too hard to get powder off it, but it's also not too powdery, you know. So yeah, I've been using this since I got it out of my drawer. I had bought it quite a while ago, but yeah, as you can see, I'm going to end up using this up, and I'm going to make myself use up my loose powders before buying another one. But I think this is the one I will buy because I have tried quite a few. Remember, I bought a few from Kiko. They didn't work out for me. I bought the Collection one, 17 one, and I think there was a colour problem with one of them, and then the other one just didn't mattify. And this brush has been my perfect powder brush. So in fact, I look like I'm a little bit shiny there. But what I love about this is it doesn't look cakey either, I don't think. You know, it just takes away that shine, but doesn't mess up your makeup. Like, it doesn't cover up my blush. A lot of powders are so thick that you can put them on and you think, wow, I need to put blush on again because it's like taking the colour away, you know. But this doesn't. And this brush is by Mykit Co. And it's called My Flat Powder, and it's 0.12. It's so soft. It's so soft, but I'm so fussy with powder brushes, and this is the perfect size that it's not so small that it takes ages to do your face, because I've often used smaller brushes, like blusher brushes. One of them was, I think it was an old MAC one that I had, and it just took me forever to do my face. But most of them are too big for me. And this one is just perfect, that it doesn't take too long to powder your face. You can still get in, you know, like by your nose and under your eyes, and it's lovely and soft. Love it. So both of those are favourites. Okay, this is my other favourite. I can't remember if I showed you this in favourites or not, but this is so, I couldn't live without this. Like, I'd be devastated if it broke, and I'd immediately go and buy another one, and it's not expensive. I bought this initially to go on my treadmill. So I bent it like that and would hook it over the top of the treadmill. I hired a treadmill. I don't have it anymore, but it didn't come with a fan. So I put that over it, and it worked perfectly, absolutely perfectly. I then used this for my TCA peels. You know how I do the TCA peels on my eyelids? So as soon as I put the peel on, it starts stinging. I use this on my eye and it stops the stinging. It's got 3 different settings, as you can see. Oh, it just feels so lovely. I then used this with the heat wave this summer. It's been so hot. I've been using this a lot because you can just walk around with it, you know, so perfect. And then more recently, I've been using it with my self-tanner. I've been using it to dry the self-tanner on my neck, and it seems to, it dries it so it stops it going too patchy, you know, so I'm not sort of wrinkling my neck up whilst it's still wet, I suppose. It just dries it down, and it works really, really well. So I've got so many uses for this, and I have charged this, I think once, maximum twice in, I think I've had this like a year at least. So I will link this for you. Hopefully it's still available, but it's amazing, really amazing. And like I said, lots of different uses for it. That's everything for my favourites today. Let me tell you what my makeup is. It is the liquid foundation by Catrice. I think it's called HD foundation. On my eyes, you know what's on my eyes, or do you? Did I tell you? I used this one today, the Viseart's petite matte warm. On my cheeks is a blush by Illamasqua called Lover. This is just Stila liquid lipstick in caramello, and then I did have a bit of lip gloss on, but it's gone, by Morphe Madison Beer in satin. And that's everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.